So, you're thinking of moving to Bluffton, South Carolina, and you want to know how much money do I need to make to actually live in these neighborhoods? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the salary and the household income you need to qualify to live in some of the neighborhoods in Bluffton. So don't go anywhere. We're getting started right now. You want to know everything there is to know about the South Carolina Lowcountry, whether it's Bluffton, Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, or Jasper County? Then subscribe below and tap that bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about everything happening here. My name is David Simcox, host of the channel and a local realtor. I get calls and emails every day from people just like you and you and you looking to make their move here, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 3 days, 3 months, or even 3 years, give me a call, send me an email, shoot me a text, or even book a Zoom call, all in the description below so I can help you find your Lowcountry lifestyle. Now today, we are going to go through 3 different neighborhoods in Bluffton, South Carolina to show you exactly how much money you need to make to be able to afford living in these neighborhoods. Now, as many of you know, the rates are a little higher than what people are comfortable with, so I thought it would be helpful if we just kind of break it down and show you the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, the POA fees, which is something we have here. If you haven't heard of that, that's the Property Owners Association fees. I'll just kind of add it all up and you can see what does it take to buy into some of these neighborhoods. Now, of course, Bluffton has probably 30 plus neighborhoods or more, so I couldn't go through every single one. So I just chose 3 of the most popular, one at a lower price point, one at a medium price point, and one at a higher price point to show you kind of how the numbers work. So with all that being said, we are going to jump inside my computer and we're going to take a look at all 3 starting right now. All right, so the first neighborhood that we're going to look at is called Mill Creek at Cypress Ridge. And this is probably the 2nd largest neighborhood in all of Bluffton. And let me show you where it's at. So if I zoom out on the map, a lot of people know Hilton Head Island because it's a major tourist destination that people have been coming to since the 1950s. And right across the bridge, you have Bluffton. So this is all Bluffton right in here. And all these red dots over here represent the sold properties in Mill Creek at Cypress Ridge. And so people love Cypress Ridge because it has some really incredible amenities. If I zoom in right here, you'll see they have this resort style amenity complex with a resort style pool, a lazy river that goes around, a splash pad, a 3-story workout center, a fenced in kids playground area. They've got tennis courts, they've got basketball courts, and then they have another swimming pool over on this side. And so that kind of gives you an idea for the amenities and the lifestyle. And over the past year, there were 80 sales. And I'll just kind of pop through here and show you a couple of these homes so you can get a feel for what they look like. And I'm not going to go through many. I just want to, give you a quick overview. And there are a few townhomes in here as well, but a lot of standalone homes as well. And so the average price in this neighborhood is $485,000. And believe it or not, that is about the entry-level price point in Bluffton, South Carolina. There are a few that you'll find in the 300s, but for the most part, this is kind of starting out. So comment down below and tell me if that is a high or a low entry point based on where you're coming from. So let's break down the numbers just so that you can kind of see if you were to buy in this price point, what that would look like. So If the average price in Mill Creek at Cypress Ridge is $485,000, we're going to assume, and again, there are many loan programs, we're going to assume a 10% down payment. So that would be $48,500 down. Now, of course, there are VA options, which you can do 100%. There's conventional where you can do 3%, but just to keep apples to apples, we're gonna use 10% down on all these numbers. So at 10% down, and assuming an interest rate of 7%, again, by the time you watch this video in 3 months or maybe even 3 years from now, that average interest rate could be much lower or it could be much higher, I don't know. But at 7%, your principal and interest payment would be about $2,904. And your taxes would be roughly $202. Your insurance would be roughly $161 per month. And then your POA, or your Property Owners Association fee, would be $161 per month. That brings your total monthly payment to $3,383, which would mean a lot of banks use a 3-to-1 ratio, meaning you need to make at least 3 times what your housing payments are. So that would mean that as a household income, total all in would need to make about $11,444 per month, which would equal out to a household income of $137,328 per year. Now, if you're in a 2-income household, that equals about $68,664 each. So that's what it takes roughly to get into Mill Creek at Cypress Ridge, the second largest neighborhood in Bluffton, South Carolina. And if you want to learn more about Mill Creek at Cypress Ridge, I have made individual videos about that neighborhood, and you can watch an entire video that goes into great detail all about this particular neighborhood. So let's move on to the next price point up. All right, so the next neighborhood we're going to look at here is called Hampton Lake. And Hampton Lake is a super popular neighborhood. It has some incredible amenities, and all these red marks here on the map represent all the sold properties over the past year. And if I zoom out, again, I want to show you this is Hilton Head Island. Right across the bridge is Bluffton. All of this in here is Bluffton. And if I zoom in on Hampton Lake, you'll see the thing that makes Hampton Lake really unique and cool is there's a series of these waterways that go all throughout the community, and some of the houses actually have their own docks and boats that you can park behind your house, and you can go all throughout the community on these boats. And if you do not have a boat or a dock behind your house, they actually have an area where you can rent boats and go out and fish and have a great time. It is all no wake speed, but even if you're not into the boating scene, they have some incredible amenities. So if I zoom in right here, they've got this giant amenity center here, again with splash pad for the kiddos. They've got pickleball and tennis. They actually have a sand beach area here that you can hang out and overlook the waterways. They've got an adults only pool right here. And then they have an absolutely incredible fitness center with full spa services in there. They have a great restaurant in there called Backwater Bill's. And then if I zoom out over here, they have a whole additional amenity center, which has another pool, an outdoor bar and grill. They have this big swimming lake, which they call Crystal Lake, and it has white sand beaches all the way around it. And then of course, more pickleball and basketball over here, another playground for the kiddos, and then this huge sports field that you can use for throwing the football or the baseball or the frisbee or whatever you want to do. Really an amazing neighborhood. And in the past year, there were 79 transactions. And I'll just pop through a few of these photos just so you can kind of get a feel for what you can get in this neighborhood. Again, this is not meant to be all-inclusive. I did actually make a video specifically about this community that you can go in and you can watch in detail and learn everything you want to know about Hampton Lake. So just a couple more photos. There's one on the water, and Some of these have side entry garages. Some of them have 3-car garages, which is really nice. And so in Hampton Lake, the average sales price over the past year was $907,000. So we're going to go with all the same assumptions that we had in the first scenario. So we are going to assume a 10% down payment, and we're going to assume 7% interest rate. Again, that could be up, down. Your scenario is completely different, I understand, and you could be watching this, maybe 3 years from now. So this is just right now a snapshot in time. So if you put 10% down, that would be $90,700. And assuming a 7% interest rate, your principal and interest would be $5,431. Your taxes would be about $377 per month. Again, that's assuming this is your primary residence and not a second home. Your insurance would be about $302 per month. And your property owner association fee would be $383 per month. That goes to all the amenities and all the lifestyle items, which means that your total monthly bill to live in this neighborhood would be about $6,493 per month, which would mean as a household, you would need to make $19,479 per month, assuming a 3-to-1 ratio of your housing expense, which would mean as a household, you would need to make about $233,748 per year to live in Hampton Lake, which would mean if you had a 2-income household, you would each need to make about $116,000. Okay, so that is Hampton Lake. And again, if you want to learn everything there is to know about Hampton Lake, I have made an individual video specifically about that community. You can click and you can watch that if you'd like to. So with that being said, we're going to move on one more rung up the pricing ladder to another neighborhood. All right, so now we're back inside my computer and we are going to look at our final neighborhood of the day, and this is Palmetto Bluff. And Palmetto Bluff is an ultra luxurious neighborhood. It has some world-class amenities. It actually has a world-class resort out there called the Montage, and it is absolutely a world unto itself. It has incredible amenities, including several marinas on the water, boat storage. They have their own shooting club. They have incredible fitness facilities, multiple swimming pools, and some really, really deep historical roots that date back to a giant mansion that used to be out there, owned by one of the top banking families in the Northeast, and it burned down, but actually the ruins of this historical mansion are still out there. There have been celebrities that have lived out there and gotten married out there, and it's really a gem here in the South Carolina Lowcountry. So with that being said, let's see, where is Palmetto Bluff? I'm going to zoom out here, and again, we illustrate by showing this is Hilton Head Island, and across the bridge is Bluffton. And Palmetto Bluff is kind of out on its own area. So you'd have to go from Old Town Bluffton here, go down Highway 46, and then you kind of take this long road out to Palmetto Bluff, and it is just incredibly beautiful out in Palmetto Bluff. And there's homes anywhere from like the village style setting to these grand estates that could be on 20 acres or more. And I mean, just incredible. I mean, anywhere from $2 million up to $20-30 million homes. Now, I'm just going to pop over here and show you a few of the houses just so you can see what they look like. There's one. Here's some plans of some new construction, because they do offer quite a bit of new construction out there. Some very grand houses. There's another one. And absolutely incredible. We'll look at one more. There's one more. There we go. Very beautiful. So in Palmetto Bluff, in the past year, there were 94 transactions. And the average sale in Palmetto Bluff was $2.5 million. So I would say in Bluffton, this is probably the highest average price neighborhood. I don't know, it would be a close running between Colleton, Berkeley, Belfair, and Palmetto Bluff, but Palmetto Bluff might have them. I haven't run that report recently, so I can't say without a shadow of a doubt that Palmetto Bluff is the most expensive, but it's one of the top 4. So average sales price of $2.5 million. So we're gonna go with all the same assumptions and say 10% down would be $250,000. Yes, $250,000. And that would mean that your principal and interest payment at 7%, and again, this might be a jumbo loan, so it might be a little bit different, but we're gonna use the same numbers for comparison. Principal and interest would be $14,969 per month. The taxes would be about $1,041 per month. The insurance would probably be about $833 per month. And the POA fee would be $1,187 per month. Now that's assuming that you don't join any of the additional clubs within Palmetto Bluff. They do charge extra if you want to join the golf club, and they charge extra if you want to join the boating club, and they charge extra if you want to join the shooting club. I'm not including those in this calculation. Just the general POA fee or property owner association fee would bring the grand total to $18,030 per month, which would mean that you would need to make about $54,090 to qualify for a mortgage on one of these Palmetto Bluff homes. That would equal about $649,000 of household income to qualify. Or if you had a 2-income household, you would each need to make about $324,000 to qualify for this loan. So anyway, I know a lot of people in Palmetto Bluff probably come in and pay cash and are not using a mortgage, and also a lot of people in Palmetto Bluff do use it as a second home or a third or a fourth home, depending on, you know, who they are and what they're doing. And so they would have a different tax rate if that were the case. But again, this is just a general scenario. So again, with all that being said, I showed you 3 different price points: an entry-level neighborhood of Cypress Ridge at $485,000 average price. The next tier up was Hampton Lake, which was $907,000 average price point. And then we looked at Palmetto Bluff, which has an average price point of $2.5 million. So again, I hope you enjoyed this little comparison and a little bit of number crunching. And again, if I can help you find your low country lifestyle, give me a call, send me an email, shoot me a text, or even book a Zoom call, all in the description below. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest happening here, be sure and like, subscribe, and tap that bell for notifications so you'll know every time I drop a new video. It has been an absolute pleasure spending time with you today. I hope to meet you in some point in person, but if not, I will see you on the next video.